Hi guys, welcome to CultFans. Today's guest is a talented young woman most of our viewers would know as Ilyin from the Outpost, but also has an array of soon upcoming works such as Behind You, Night Sky, and Gather. We are vastly impressed by the exceptional balance of her straight-A schooling and rapidly evolving career. So climb aboard. I'm Minerva.
I'm Stacy.
Hi, I'm Shay.
But let's get to the real guest of the hour, who everyone is really here for, Elizabeth Birkner, who plays Ilyin on The Outpost. It's great to see you, Elizabeth. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fantastic. Okay, so, that season finale, what a doozy. We have a whole bunch of audience questions waiting for you. Everyone really loved your work, and we can't emphasize that enough. How are you feeling about the fan reception, the fandom, and the renewal news? Congratulations on Season 2, by the way.
Well, thanks. I thought the whole, episode 10 and the whole series went really well. There's a lot of information packed in one, so I'm really excited that we're going to have the opportunity to have a Season 2, because I definitely think that will help people understand more about what's going on. And so I think that will really help the story arc go up, and I think that will also help more people be attracted to our show, because it's really good. It needs more opportunities to be able to show what it's capable of with all the stories and all the different storylines. I think that it went really well, especially with all the people learning about all the surprises that were in episode 10. So I think it went really well.
One thing that's been on our mind, but also asked by a few fans of yours, Elaine Mancini and ABS Charles on Twitter, is how old are you and when did you start getting into acting? How did you get into it at your age? What has this journey been like for you?
Well, I'm 12 years old, and I started acting when I was 9 with musical theater. I started my first role being Tinkerbell in Peter Pan, so that was really fun. And I think I started acting because when I was younger, my dad bought my mom some Wicked tickets, and I went, and I had front row, middle seat tickets, and so I think that was when I found my love for theater. And it was 3 years later when I actually did start doing acting, but I really think that's what started it because of all the special experiences I had there. But yeah, I'm 12 years old, but my acting career has mostly taken off since I was 11. So
When it comes down to your acting and Ilyin's intensity, did anyone give you any special directions to accomplish it, like a director or anyone on set, and what did they tell you?
well, of all the episodes that I was in, there was many different directors. So I think that was it was very interesting because I got different insights on who they thought Ilyin was and what she should turn into and how she should evolve with her character. So I got many different storylines that I was able to kind of mold together into one. And so I think Ilyin is such a interesting and great character because I was able to kind of make it my own. And so I think that was something that's really good. But some things that I do specifically remember is when John lied, I think. Or it was John lied. It was the ending scene, and he was like, I don't want you to just be this creepy little girl. I want you to have some more emotion and passion into it. So I think that was the best that he gave me, and the best advice.
Well, you definitely captured that. Congratulations. While she's sinister at times, she's not without her reservations in humanity.
Oh yeah, that's something I was going for, yeah. Because I didn't want to just be this girl who's in the background just nodding and staring. Yeah, I wanted it to have more emotion, and I think that's something that they wanted to, and that's something that they kind of helped me create. So
Can you tell us a little bit more about your work before The Outpost and what pieces might have been your favorite and why, and also what it felt like to work on a fantasy show like The Outpost? Would you like to do a lot more work like this?
well, like I said, I've mostly done musical theater before I did film, but my favorite musical theater was definitely when I was in Les Miserables, and that was again that kind of storyline, because I played Little Cosette, it was that more storyline of the more humanity and depth that became with that character. And I think that was something that I really found interesting. I also got to play a beggar on the sidelines, so that was really fun because I was able to just show more emotion through my singing. And then with film, I think it would have to be when I shot Behind You with Philip Brodie and some other people from the crew of the Outpost, like makeup, hair, costumes, that's the word. But yeah, I think that was probably the best experience that I've had because it's my first film and I also got to get out of school. But I also got to just learn some new things that really helped me, especially in doing something like the Outpost with all the fantasy behind it, because I learned some new things about all that like goes into making a film, especially with something like fantasy, because you have to make sure that everything is a historical accurate if you're going to have it set in a time period. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I definitely am excited because there's going to be a season 2. So I'm really excited to be able to do something like that again. But I also would want to do something more happy and exciting. But I think it's more fun to have a more in-depth character.
But the genre, it seems to be something you have some enjoyment in.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's more, I don't know, I think it's more something that I enjoy, just being able to be kind of creepy and be able to freak people out, even though in my day-to-day life I'm not like that.
Well, Elizabeth, you're just a joy to talk to, but I'm going to give the other ladies a shot to pull in a few more questions.
Thanks, Min. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
So, all of us at CultFans and the audience have been dying to know, what was it like playing Ilyin? Misha, so I always mess up her name, sorry. Misha's, she's actually a friend, so she'll give me grief. Celine Zov, Lizzie Robinson, and Dave Buchanan pointed out that you didn't get a lot of dialogue, and you've touched on this some, but everyone felt such a very powerful performance out of you through your expressions. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you've done to get yourself into that mood?
Well, I think it was mostly just being able to be I think it was mostly just being able to be by myself for some time in my trailer while I waited to go in, because it's so exciting to watch everything with all the buzzing going around you, with everyone doing their jobs and getting excited to produce something that's going to be really good. But to get in that mood, I think it was just mostly having the mental space of what I wanted to have come across, because since I knew Philip really well, it was kind of hard in a way to try and be calm and hate him, but it was also at the same time, since I knew him, it was so comfortable and I was able to show that I could hate him in a way, if that makes any sense. But pretty much just getting in the mood was just trying to be myself while putting on a mask of being another character. So I think that was pretty much just it.
That's awesome. Another fan, Stuart Williams, took that a little step further and asked if that's the kind of role you really enjoy. Do you enjoy being, which you said that you enjoyed a little bit, doing the creepy, almost scary girl, because it's so different from who you are? So is that something that you really enjoy doing about this character?
Yeah, that's something I really do enjoy. Just being able to, show that the creepy side to someone inside of me like Ilyin, and also just being able to show that, I don't know, Ilyin is such an interesting character because she has so many possibilities that her character could go to. So I think that was mostly just being able to be that creepy, scary girl for the first part of it, was able to help show my character where the right direction goes for her future story arc in season 2. But I think, it was definitely fun being able to be the creepy, scary girl. And I think that is definitely fun. And it's another side to Ilyin that really can come through different emotions.
Who were you closest to on set? Who really helped you feel the most comfortable? And who do you feel like you made friends with during the time that you was on set?
I definitely I definitely think I was obviously closest to Philip because we had done other projects before. Because we filmed a whole horror movie overnight for a month, so I obviously got to know him very well. So I think that having him there was able to not make me so nervous on my first days there, because since I was a little girl and I was one of the only child people there, it was kind of difficult because I was like, I don't know what to say because I don't know who they are, especially because they're adults. But having Philip there, because sometimes behind the scenes we're kids together, so it's really great. He's also just so nice and the most like genuine, kind person you can find. He's so great. So I think that I already knew him, so that's helped. But I think I mostly became like friends through my time at the Outpost with Doug Pasco, probably the producer. Doug Pasco is so great. Also, he's also very funny. I don't know if some people like realize that he's really funny. And my mom, I think my mom already knew him before we started filming, but that had nothing to do with the Outpost. But it was kind of funny because we were like, oh, my mom knows you. So we had some things to talk about on that side. And we also just became like really good friends. And so I think that was really great.
That's awesome. Doug's got a really big presence on Twitter, so he's a lot of fun. So I definitely see that. Another question, real quick, for fun. Did you enjoy riding horses? Was this a skill you already had or one that you learned?
Well, I had rode horses before, but only like a couple times before. So I was kind of nervous, especially when they said I had to trot with the horse, because I've only like walked with a horse by myself. And so when they said I had to trot, I was like, oh, okay. And the first scene we filmed is when it's when the guy chops his head off. Dred chops that village guy's head off. And that's the first scene I filmed. And when we were filming that, when I started riding the horse for the first time, the horse ran off with me. And I got really scared because I was like, I don't know what to do. And he started galloping. And I was like, oh no, this is the end. I'm going to get fired. But he didn't. And I was able to stop him. And I was able to control him. And everything was good after that. But I really did enjoy riding the horses. Except when you're riding a horse for 6 hours, you get very uncomfortable. And you have pins for the rest of your days. And so I think it was really fun. Except going to school the next day after being on a horse for a long time was really not great. But yeah.
So it definitely had its good points and bad points for you.
Yeah.
Floppy Jalopy on Twitter asked, the story of Ilyin's hair. What was it in the character description that way, or did you have some input into that? And what was your reaction after having the hairdo done?
Well, originally they wanted to shave my whole head off, but me living in Utah, I knew that would never give me any other roles besides the Outpost because it's Utah. And so because I was already booked for another role for a BYU film that was a capstone film. So it was just a short film, but still it was set in pioneer times, and I was like, there's no way they're going to let me shave my hair off. So I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shave the sides. Because my mom had already asked me, like, hey, would you be okay if we auditioned for something that wanted you to shave your hair off? And I was like, oh, yeah, totally. Because I was like, oh, yeah, there's no way I'll ever get this part. But then I did, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, So I was like, okay, sides of my hair, that will be fine. And I did it. And I was really nervous. And I was saying a lot of things that I was like, dude, I can't do this. But once it was over with, I was like, oh, it's so soft. And I was like, okay, that was a great decision. And now, it being about 8 months later, it's grown out a bit. But it sticks up sometimes, but that's okay. But I'm really happy that I did because I really think it helps Ilyin get her creepiness factor with that. It's also cool because I kind of wanted it to match Dred's hairstyle. So it was kind of nice to be able to be like, yo, we're cool together.
That's awesome. The hair is definitely unique to Ilyin. That is so cool. Well, we have a few more questions that are going to start tilting towards spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the finale yet. So, be advised, spoiler alert. But I'll be passing off to Shay to do our ending segment.
Okay.
Hi, Elizabeth. It's great to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And I just wanted to let you know that, and echo the audience, your performance is foreboding and at times hinging on sinister, but not without its own subtlety, that there is more to her than a creepy girl. So good job.
Thank
She's
you.
fantastic. Like, you can see so much out of her.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of there being more than meets the eye, do you remember how the role was described when you auditioned for it, and when did you find out you were the dragman?
So, I video auditioned for the Outpost, and when I was talking about my hair, I said, there's no way I'm gonna get this role. And there was no, really description of who Ilyin was. So, with my audition, I made him more evil than it was intended to be, because I really thought that. Because later on, we discovered that Ilyin's not really on Dred's side, and that she doesn't like him. But when I thought of Ilyin, I thought that, yeah, we're gonna be close and we're gonna be evil together. But that was how my audition went, and I was like, I just don't know about who Ilyin is, and I didn't even know how to say her name correct. So I was like, I'll just audition, see where this takes. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I wasn't expecting it to. But then I got a call back. So I went. I was nervous, really nervous. I was talking to Kynan, Jason, Jennifer, and James. You may not know who those people are, but I was talking to them, and I was very nervous, and they had me do another audition, and it was the same type of thing, but they more explained to me that this girl's not completely on Dred's side, and that she has more depth to her character. The only thing that they did tell me about being the dragman is that I'll be in the last episode, in the last scene of it. So I was like, oh, that's cool, I might be a cliffhanger. And so since I was only in episodes 6 through 10, I only got the scripts for 6 or 10, obviously. So I had no idea kind of what was going on, and since I didn't have to talk, it wasn't a huge deal. But I actually only read episodes 6, 9, and 10, so I had no idea what was going on in 7 and 8. But I don't think that really mattered too much. But being the dragman, I only figured that out because I read the script. So that was fun.
You spoiled it for yourself.
Because originally, Jonzo was actually going to say, look, Talon, she's the dragman. But then the day that we were going to film that, they changed it. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can talk. Because I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool to talk in the first season and have it be a cliffhanger. And it was really cool. But at first with Jonzo, I was like, yeah, that could be cool too. But I kind of wanted to talk, So, yeah, being the dragman was really cool. And I still have no idea entirely what that means, but...
I don't think any of us do yet.
Yeah, no one, even the lead characters don't.
Well, beyond the ability to understand the Book of Names, would you like to have any other superpowers during season 2 now that we know we're getting it?
For superpower wise, I think it would be really cool to be able to fly. I think that would be really cool, but I don't think that they're gonna write that in. That'd be really cool though. But I think for more powers or ability, I think it would be so cool if Ilyin was the best sword fighter around. That'd be so fun. Just be able to sword fight with everyone and get to train. Because one of my brothers does a lot of martial arts with swords, so I think he would be able to it would be nice for him to teach me. So I think that it would be really fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you mentioned spending a lot of time with Philip Brodie, who played Dred, and he's an extremely powerful and intimidating character. You've already said that he's a great guy behind the scenes, and so when it comes to Ilyin and Dred and Elizabeth and Philip, is it like a turn it on, turn it off thing when it comes to the intimidating, foreboding factor? How did the two of you handle that so well to have two completely different jives?
Yeah, I think definitely it was like a turn it on, turn it off. And the scene where Philip and Dred and I are walking into where the mistress works as where, I'm not sure what it's called, but the bar essentially where the mistress owns, the thing that mistress owns. Oh my gosh, okay, sorry. But right before that scene, I was actually teaching him cool dance moves. And so right before we'd go on, we were doing like kicks and spins, and I was teaching him all sorts of different dance moves. And then right when we heard the soldiers walk right in, he'd fix our outfits, get ready, and then we'd walk in, and then we'd be powerful. And then I just have to watch everything going on. But so yeah, I definitely think it was a turn it on, turn it off. And the first day that we filmed together inside the hut, I think that we were just, it was exciting because we hadn't seen each other in a while. And I totally forgot that he was going to be Dred. I don't know how I forgot, but when I saw him, I was like, oh, hey! And I was like, oh, yeah, wait, what? And so it was really exciting to be able to see him and being able to act with him again, and especially in such a different character from what he played in Behind You, because he's a more nice character. And I was the more evil character. Mm-hmm. So it was really fun to be able to reverse roles and be able to bounce back and off of each other. Even though I didn't talk, it was just the more emotions and the dialogue that he would say to me that I could be able to convey more emotions towards him.
Yeah, so speaking of that, when it comes to Ilyin's reservations towards Dred, how much of that was your own reaction versus directed reaction?
Well, when I said that I never read the script, I basically learned when I nod through the little pamphlets that they give you at the beginning of the day to like show the shooting schedule. So I learned like what he was going to say to me and when I would nod, but like listening to like the words that he would say and like feeling the more like passion that Philip was able to like show through his words about killing this black bud, I was like, okay, that's cool. And then like being able to show Ilyin, it was more being able to feel like the humanity and shock to herself, also with me being able to listen to his words and how evil he sounded. But I definitely think that that had something to do with it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, with all of this, what do you think the best part of being on the Outpost is overall? And is there a direction you hope to see for your character to go in the future? We don't know yet what the writers want for her, but what is it you imagine for Ilyin?
So I definitely think that Ilyin should definitely help Talon. I don't know if that's going to happen. Even if it didn't, I think that could also be cool. But I also think that Ilyin and Dred should, I keep wanting to call Dred Philip, but Ilyin and Dred should have this one episode or just a couple scenes together where it shows our background and how we met. I think that would be very interesting, especially in this whole fantasy realm. I think that could be something that could really help the storyline and really be so interesting. Or talking about how I got my powers to be the Dragman, or how I was a lie detector pretty much. But I think that could be something that's really cool. And also, I think that the best thing being on the Outpost was definitely the learning experiences that I got, and also being able to just film again and doing something that I love. Because being in Utah and being a child, there's a lot of different types of projects that you get to do, but I think fantasy was so interesting and one of my first.
Absolutely. Man, like, I gotta say, again, your performance as Ilyin is fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm completely blown away.
Okay, we're heading on towards that time again. We don't want to keep you all tied up, and I'm sure you have great things to do, but is there anything else that you would want to talk about or mention about the Outpost or about any of your other work or anything at all that you'd like to mention before we wrap up?
I think this might be something that you guys will think is very funny. The scene, like I said before, when Philip and I were dancing behind the scenes, when we were coming in and he was slitting women's hands to find the black blood, and then how they started destroying everything. I don't know how this happened, but they never told me that that was going to happen, that they were going to start smashing bottles full of liquid all around me. And so when that happened, I was about to smile, and I was like, wait, this is a scene, right? And so I was about to laugh, and I was like, you got to keep it under control. And I think that was the one time I was really close to breaking character, because I was like getting things all over my dress, and I was like, what do I do? But I think that was the best thing, like best scene experience that I had, like for fun.
That's cool. That is so cool.
I have one more question though. Speaking of almost breaking character, do you have any blooper scenes that you want to talk about?
Blooper scenes. There was one time where, because there was a lot of fog in the first scene that I filmed, and I just got off of a cold, and I really, really had to cough so bad, but I couldn't, because Dred was over there being all passionate about being evil. And I just was sitting there in the background trying to read a book, trying not to cough so hard. And so they said cut, and I literally started having a coughing attack, and it was very amusing to myself, but other people were like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. But it was really funny. So I don't think yeah, totally no. But I think that was the most, like, almost close to breaking character, because I would only break character really if Dred or Talon in that one scene would break character, and that's the only time I would.
So you're very professional. That's awesome. Far more than some adult actors, it sounds like. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming to talk to us today, Elizabeth. You again took our breath away with your performance as Ilyin, and we can't wait to see what's in store for her and you, and and the Outpost in general.
Yeah.
But
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it is our pleasure, and again, thank you so much.
Well, no problem.
Hey guys, if you want to learn more about Elizabeth, check out the links in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and check out our playlist for other interviews with cast and crew from The Outpost. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram for updates and alerts, and check out CultFans.com, also in the description below. The Outpost Season 2 will be returning this summer on the CW. Stay tuned for more news.